Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Real quick, I'm going to pass some stuff down if you'll pass it that way, and Commissioner Drainer, if you'll pass some of those over as well. Obviously, this board's had a lot of discussion over the last couple of weeks, and I appreciate Commissioner Drainer for bringing this forward. And that's in regard to Sunrail service and the connection points as far as the Poinciana Sunrail station go. Last week, I was able to have a meeting with the head of Sunrail and also the head of Lynx, and to sit down and talk about this issue and see how we could try and, as I so gracefully tried to put it, and I don't know if that actually happened or not, how do we all get a win at the end of the day on this? And we started talking about how do we service all the folks in District 3 and around the Sunrail station, and what's the best way to do that. And one of the first conversations we had was in regards to actual travel time from folks at Valencia campus as a central point to either the Sunrail station in Poinciana Boulevard or the Sunrail station in downtown Kissimmee. And after much questioning, but the question that was important to me about that stop and to where they get is what's the overall travel time? What does it take if I were to take a bus to get to Poinciana Boulevard as opposed to taking a bus to get down to downtown Kissimmee, and the train time and all that looks? My understanding is what they've provided with me, and they're supposed to get back the specific number, is that by going to the Kissimmee station, they will actually be cutting down, abbreviating, I don't know how far it'll be cut, the overall travel time of that person traveling to be able to go from the bus stop to catching Sunrail and moving on down the line heading up towards our Tupperware station. So that was one bit of good news. The other main issue to trying to deal with that station is all those folks in between. And when I say all those folks in between, I mean folks on Poinciana Boulevard, Campbell City, Intercession City, and the Oaks. They're currently served by a neighborhood link route that runs throughout there. And so what we did is we worked with Lynx and Sunrail to try and figure out how we could expand that zone. Specifically trying to make sure we capture Poinciana High School, as well as the gentleman who was here from Crescent Lakes, who we've heard a lot from. Those folks have been trying to get service by Lynx, and I've been asking for 4 years to try and get service expanded. So we've finally been able to expand it down. They've informed me that the Link 306 will hit the station one time in the morning, one time at night, and the neighborhood link will basically be our start. The expansion of that service will be the start of trying to figure out what the demand is for servicing the station. So I think we've got kind of a decent plan. DOT and Sunrail are working forward to be able to provide those expansions of those areas. And then they've also told me they will continue to monitor the service. So if we need to expand the neighbor link, if we need to move to more of a dedicated line, we'll hopefully be able to rate that and move up from there as service demands it. One of the key features that they're also trying to talk about the neighbor link system that's being expanded is where are those future gaps that we don't already think of. How much service demand is going to happen from outside of that area to get to a Sunrail station. So they're going to monitor that as well for us, and if there's a demand for that, look to expand that service to be able to capture that demand to make sure we get folks to our Sunrail stations. I think this is a pretty good plan for us to start with. I think it's something we can grow from. My only concern is those folks up on North Poinciana Boulevard. All the folks above the station, all the way to 192. I think there's that part of the conversation hasn't happened, and it's something we're going to have to monitor as we move forward. But I wanted to bring this forward to the board to see if everybody was kind of good with what we've got laid out. It's not the Cadillac plan, as old Frank used to say, but it's a good Chevrolet plan that I think will get us moving and hopefully get people to the stations and get the trains running. So I just wanted to bring that forward and take comments from anyone that might have one.
Commissioner Drainer?
Yes. Well, Commissioner Arrington, my concern was always with your constituents and, quite frankly, Commissioner Chaudhry's constituents to ensure that they had adequate access to that station. If you guys are okay with this, I'm certainly okay with it. Okay. I still think that, it's still the only station without a fixed bus route. But if you're fine with it, I'm good with it. You made my life a lot easier. Well, so thank you.
I was just trying to make everyone's life functional. I think and like I said, I think it's a start. And if we see the demand, and I know you and your leadership at Lynx will be able to help bring those future buses to the station. And one other thing.
I have a question.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see anybody down there.
Okay. So they're talking about
a Crescent Lake stop, is that what you were saying? That's
The Neighborhood Link system will
Neighborhood
start
Link
to
system.
service that area. Currently, it doesn't service all the way down to Poinciana High School or into the Crescent Lakes neighborhood as well.
Okay, and so for Poinciana proper?
Poinciana proper, you still have all of your bus routes that are currently servicing there. That will also go to the Valencia station and continue on into the Kissimmee station for Sunrail.
But they think it's going to be faster to go to the downtown Kissimmee versus the Poinciana station?
If you factor in the train time, the travel time, that's the assumption they have.
You realize that John Young Parkway is under construction, right?
I know, and unfortunately, DOT did us no favors by extending that construction deadline a couple
Okay.
more months.
Yeah, no,
But
I mean,
that's,
I think it is a start,
Yeah.
and hopefully they're monitoring it. I think it's going to be interesting to see how it really plays out in the real life versus the models.
yes, I agree with you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Sauter?
Yes, thank you. So just a quick question with what, I know that there was lots of communication back and forth with Commissioner Janer and regarding not just the buses and everything, but just wondering, I read a lot of the email, and they were talking a lot about the numbers, which I didn't understand because I don't know all those routes as well as you guys all do. But just what came about at the end of that in conversation? Was there anything else? And I thought maybe, I don't know if Commissioner Janer got any more updates after that, or was that the last email?
Well, you just got an update from
Yeah, this-
Commissioner Arrington. So basically, long and short of it, I'll give you a very brief overview of what I recall, and this is from my memory, so, because I don't have those documents in front of me. So we have one new route, which is the 155, which services the BVL and the Loop area, so that goes both into Commission Districts 2 and 4, going to the Tupperware Station. No new routes were necessary for the downtown Kissimmee Station because all the buses basically feed into there anyway. We are losing, I think it's the 208, which takes people from downtown Kissimmee to Sand Lake, because that line, quite frankly, is no longer necessary with Sunrail starting. And then for Poinciana, you just got the update from Commissioner Arrington, which basically they're going to make modifications to the Neighbor Lake 604. There's no fixed route service. And then there's the 306 that services twice a day for Disney employees. And that's the station that's, I believe, Commissioner Chaudhry, in your district. So it will be still the only station without a line. But I mean, the best we could do is monitor. I do think that the real life scenario is not going to give us traffic time savings. In my opinion, I've done the ride myself, just chiming it. And it is much faster to get to that Poinciana station than downtown Kissimmee. But if that is what their models are showing, you know, and you guys are fine with it, then I'm fine with it. I had been trying hard to get you a fixed bus with limited stops. I think that when they first looked at a route for that Poinciana State, they had a lot of stops in there. And because of that, the time was going to take a long time to get to that station. But again, if you're good with it, I'm good with it. Well, I'll continue to update you if anything changes. But it's going to be up to, quite frankly, you and Commissioner Chaudhry to let me know if you feel your constituents are having an issue getting to the train stops once service begins in July. Until then, I mean, I think we're all excited that Sunrail is finally coming to fruition. So from my memory of the service changes, those are some of the service changes. And there was going to be some time I think a couple of links 26, which goes through Poinciana to downtown Kissimmee. They were going to add some buses also to better service the residents trying to connect with Sunrail.
Thank you for that. I just wanted to be sure that I was also on top of it, just knowing. I did have a town hall right in Intersection City just recently. Sunrail came up and what was going to happen, and I did tell them that we were going back and forth and seeing what measures could happen. And Commissioner Arrington, I thank you for trying to put this all together and actually getting, because I can tell you the concerns that the citizens are telling me there is obviously not just getting to the station, but then also routes to getting to their house. You know, you have Good Sam, then you have the Intersection City, you have some other households further down. So just so that it's clear, then, routes will be going down also towards Intersection City and then coming back up towards the Sunrail so that they could actually,
The neighborhood link system works on a call basis.
Okay.
So all of those areas that are outlined in your map that you have been provided,
yeah.
all are able to call and be picked up. They call 2 hours ahead, I believe?
Yeah,
2 hours, 2 hours
I was
ahead.
wanting to make that.
Okay.
So to use a neighborhood link, that's the one, that's why I was pushing for a fixed route. It doesn't stop every half an hour or every hour or every 15 minutes. You have to call at least 2 hours in advance and reserve your ride. So if they're wanting to use Sunrail on a daily basis, meaning every day, 2 hours before, they have to call and reserve that neighbor link.
Okay, all right, so I'll relate that to them, and it is a start, and hopefully that will show us the numbers that I know I brought up before that I was like always concerned about. So if we can show good numbers that it's being used, then perhaps we could move forward with actually having a dedicated
That's the
route.
hope.